when you first started writing, we didn't necessarily see kind of this dark side. We saw a little bit of more, the mystery, but the more humorous mystery. What has really brought you around to these kind of darker subjects?
I write with my sister a lot, Lisa Jackson, and she writes the darker subjects. And and when I say I write with her, I do actually write books with her, joint books with her, but I also have done a lot of editing throughout the years and have been a part of that, an integral part of that whole process. So actually my publisher kind of came to me and said, you've been a part of this, and we know you love your Jane Kelly mystery series, which is more of a whodunit. And it has comedy, and it is very dear to my heart. But let's take a little break from that, and let's try this other venue and see how you do, because we think you have some talent at it. And I was like, well, who am I to say no? And so my sister and I had written Wicked Game together. And it was the first book in a series that introduced The Colony, which is a secretive, cultish type of group that there's a lot of questions about. And from Wicked Game, we've sort of launched other books that have ties to The Colony. And my book last year, Unseen, that came out in 2009, had some of that. And now Blind Spot has some of that. And then we are writing a book together, a second one, a sequel to Wicked Game, Wicked Lies. In fact, I'm working on it right now. And it definitely has ties to The Colony. So that's all kind of part of that. And this, it's not like a series, I'm not trying to write a series like the Jane Kelly series, but some of those aspects, there's a little bit of woo-woo, that kind of thing. So it's fun. I've enjoyed it.
And so in the future, we are going to see more. We're going to get more of this world, this colony. And
yes.
The colony is actually very interesting. At certain points, it's maybe considered a cult, like the community sees it more as cultish.
Yes.
But then we actually get to look inside this group. It's a group ran by kind of this head woman who is the aunt of most of the people, of the women in the colony. They shun men. They don't allow a lot of men around.
Exactly. It's like they live in another century. However, as you learn more about them, you realize they weren't always that way. It's kind of like something that's developed, and why is more of the question that we're kind of running around the periphery of. But the result of it is what's happening in the books.
And one thing also I noticed when I was reading is there's not a whole lot of black and white. Even your good guys can be selfish and can do things for the wrong reason, and even your bad guys, a lot of times you kind of come around and maybe they're not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the gray area. That's very true. And as soon as I start heading one way, black or white, I just think it becomes less interesting anyway. So it's kind of, and human nature, let's face it, we all have certain things about ourselves that aren't as nice as other things. So those gray areas, searching inside those areas are a lot more fun for me as a writer. And I think a lot of writers would probably feel that way too.